former school superintendent. He has two other Democrats running against him in the primary, and this will be a flip red to blue seat potentially. His opponents are Matthew Schultz, who is an Anchorage Presbyterian pastor, and John Brendan Williams, who is a commercial fisherman with no campaign website. That's unimaginable to me. Bill Hill has never been a registered Democrat or Republican, and further, he has not stated where he will caucus when he gets to Congress, if he gets there. And it just is worth noting that in Alaska, they do nonpartisan primaries, so the ballot just goes out with everybody on it. He's achieved the endorsements from the National Education Association, Working Class Heroes, State Senator Donnie Olson, former State Speaker Bryce Edmond, some representatives, Maxine Delbert, Robin, Rebecca Himshoot, two Democrats, and three more independents. The FEC shows that in 2025, he was funded mostly from small business donations with a shit ton of $5.10 donations from the state of Virginia. I mean, it was page after page after page of them. It was astounding to me. He raised a total of 1.9 million and had 83,000 remaining at the end of 2025, and shows no funds yet raised for 2026. His platform is protect Alaska's fisheries, which is no surprise. Make billionaires and big corps pay their fair share, cut taxes for small businesses and the middle class, ban congressional stock trading, healthcare coverage we can afford, which would include expanding Medicaid coverage and extending federal healthcare subsidies and putting caps on prescription drugs. He stated an all of the above approach for cheaper energy, getting the most out of our oil and natural gas, restoring tax credits to bring online new renewable projects, stand up for public safety and first responders, support veterans, reduce the deficit, end billionaires buying elections, and overturn Citizens United, Alaskan access to quality mental health and addiction treatment, champion community schools with bigger investment and retaining control, more vocational training, apprenticeships, career and technical education, new projects and create Alaskan good jobs, stand up for women's right to choose,
There it is.
defend our right to own guns.
Tonight.
What? 7?
No, before that, like, I
Give
don't know,
Americans
I
the
first
right
went
to
on around
repair
5
our own
o'clock.
stuff.
Could
Sorry.
Bill, could you mute yourself? Thanks.
Yep.
Thank
So
you, Diane.
that's it. That's Bill Hill in a nutshell.
He sounds as though he's platformed through and through. Amazingly. And Nancy, you mentioned this briefly, but Alaska only has one representative. It has 2 senators, but it has a population of 750,000 people,
Right.
which is the same size as San Mateo County.
Right.
So getting those seats would be such a win for us. And Alaska is a perfect example of where spending $1 there really gets you to a lot more voters than in California, for instance.
Well, and looking at some of the other candidates stuff, Alaska, because of that low population, they have a hard time drumming up people to run for office. I mean, the candidates they get are coming from, deep in their like local industry, fishermen and pastors, and yeah. Anyway.
Nancy, thank you so much. That's as democratic as it gets.
Right.
So next we have, Janelle?
Well,
We have Jonathan Nez, I think with Diana.
Yeah, that's mine. Let me pull him up. So Jonathan Nez, as you might have surmised by his name, is he's a member of the Navajo Nation. He's running for Congress for the second time against Republican House member Eli Crane, and to represent Arizona's Apache and Navajo counties, which are located in the northern and eastern areas of the state. He previously served as the 9th president of the Navajo Nation from 2019 to 2023, and he ran previously against Eli Crane in 24. Like other Democratic candidates, he is mostly concerned about how unaffordable health care and other issues are for his constituents or proposed constituents. Apache and Navajo counties have the largest number of seniors who depend on Medicare in the United States, and large numbers of residents who depend on Medicaid. He is very concerned about the hospitals and others that are going to, in the rural areas of Arizona, that are going to be in jeopardy because of Medicaid and Medicare cuts. And he is also motivated to run because he looks forward to being the first Indigenous person to serve in Congress. And he's eager to bring the voice of Native Americans to Washington, D.C. So that's my report. Nancy should have modeled what she was doing first so I could do a better job. So I was, as you were reporting, I was looking at his campaign numbers, and he actually did well. So it is Arizona. So he raised $1 million, $1.2 million, which is pretty impressive to me. But it's showing, as you described, a lot of small donations from his from people who support him. So it's pretty impressive. I was very impressed with him. So that's my report.
I was one of those fairly early and often supporters, just because, and from the healthcare end of things, we all know how underappreciated they are and how straitjacketed by so much of what the U.S. has done over time. And it would be great to have his voice in the House. Thank you, Diana, so much. And if anyone has questions on the way, please do ask them or thoughts. Next, we go to, keep turning the page, to Marshall, I think, and Sean McCann. And I think Marshall and Nancy are sharing McCann. But Marsh,
Well,
you want to start lead off?
Well, Nancy's doing it, yeah. So which one are we doing now?
Sean
McCann.
McCann.
Okay.
Question. Could you tell
Yes.
us what race they're in? You know, the state and the district.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, Alaska won. Got that one.
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah,
first
Alaska, and that's
candidate
called-
who's from Pennsylvania.
yeah, they just call that at large, Alaska at large.
Yeah, but who is the candidate? The first candidate was in Pennsylvania.
No, in Alaska.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That was Bill Hill.
Okay.
See, and I forget. Okay, so now I've got Sean McCann, but I forget what I can't get to the. He's from Michigan. Michigan, like 3 or 5 or something like that. Sean McCann.
Yeah, I don't think we need numbers, but
Okay, so
but
he's
the
going to Michigan, U.S. House for Michigan. He's a Kalamazoo small business owner. I never could find anything that said what his business was. Former city commissioner. He's been in the Michigan State House and the Senate. He was added to the DCCC program for flippable seat candidates this year. So he's been endorsed by them. He has 2 Democrats running against him in the primary. Then again, this would be a flip red to blue seat. His opponent, Richard Aaron, doesn't even have a legitimate campaign website to look at. I couldn't find anything about him. And the other opponent, Diop Harris, is a former congressional staffer with a big, huge piece of platform content like I'd never seen. It was just humongous. And there's also no incumbent running in this seat right now. I didn't dive into why that
Okay.
was, but his little blurb says, from
Hmm?
cracking
nothing.
down. Oh,
I don't know if people can
I'm-
hear me.
I'm so sorry. Bill, we're hearing you again. That you have two, okay, thank you. You're on two different devices as well. Thank you.
right. So his little blurb says, from cracking down on slumlords to leading disaster relief with the Red Cross, he helps attract new jobs and businesses to Michigan and expanding tax relief for working families as a state senator. Yada, yada. His endorsements, he's got 15 local officials, 5 former and current state electeds, 29 community members, 2 PACs, one called Defend the Vote PAC and one called Defeat Extremists PAC. He's been endorsed by Hillary Scholten, who is a congressional Democrat from Michigan 3, former congressman, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, local union and Michigan Senate Majority Leader and State Representative. So he's got a pretty big list of endorsements. The FEC shows that he's raised about $500,000 in 2025 and has $130 remaining. Also shows no funds raised yet in 2026. Pretty straightforward platform is keep costs low and tackle affordability crisis, mostly talking about tariffs, protect our health care. That includes ACA credits, reducing drug costs, strengthening access to care, especially in rural areas, address energy costs, lead a domestic energy economy, support alternative clean energy, and he's also a really big proponent on nuclear power plants. Protect water, air, and land, safeguard our Constitution and democracy, fight for farmers, producers, and rural communities, especially where tariffs on seed, fertilizer, and fuel have impacted them hugely. Supporter of the Farm Bill and this Right to Repair Act that I keep seeing coming up sometimes. I should look into that. I'm not sure exactly the details, but he believes in honoring veterans and providing them care, invest in local public education, secure the border and fix our immigration policy, support local law enforcement, champion community schools by further investment in retaining control, fight for reproductive freedom, and bringing home good paying jobs. So all the good things.
And Marshall, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I didn't do McCann because
Oh, good. Oh, good.
because Nancy was doing, yeah.
Oh, good. I misinterpreted that. So Nancy, when he says protect the border, do you know what he means by that?
No, he didn't really. There weren't that many details on his website. He didn't have.
No.
His bullet items were rather weak. Yeah, I mean, I can go
Uh,
back and look, but I
Do,
don't
do you
remember
get
seeing anything that stood out.
do you get the sense that feels like a safer place for him from which to run?
Well, I'm not sure about Michigan politics. He certainly has a deep bit of endorsements going, and I don't know how hard. I should have looked to see, even though there's no incumbent, I don't know. I did say it would be a flip a red to blue seat. And then there's also the support from that DCCC program, a special flipping program.
Which sounds as though he could get a lot of support that way.
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds good. So I'm next, and I did Dan Osborne, who interestingly is an independent running in Nebraska for the Senate. So a big move there. Dan is running for a seat that's currently held by a Republican, a guy named Pete Ricketts. And he is not only in the Senate, but he was also the governor for 2 full terms. So there's 8 years. That's he's called prominent in the Republican Party, no surprise. So that's a hell of an opponent. Nebraska is 50% registered Republicans, 26% registered Democrats, and 24% all other, mostly independent, but also the the smaller parties, some of which we've heard of, some now not. One is, and you've probably heard of this, but Marijuana Freedom Now. It's very working class and very red, as you can tell. So interestingly, the Democratic Party has declined to support either of the two Democrats who have put their hat in the ring. Have we ever heard of that before? May have happened, but I haven't. And it's because they, very Republican state, but they think this fellow is the strongest candidate, Dan Osborne. And why? Because, well, first of all, they don't say it, but they may not think the others are so strong. Although they did say one of the candidates is kind of doing it for political reasons, maybe to get his name out there. So it's interesting that the party would say he's not a serious candidate, but they did. So let me go through Dan's background a little bit. Let me go through this. He is, I've already done a lot of this. He is a Navy man from way back, only in it 4 years, but he translated that also to then being he lived in a few states after that, but is a Nebraskan through and through at this point. He's 51, been there about 3 decades, a little more than 3 decades. He, when he graduated from Catholic high school, he went straight into the Navy, and he was on one of those huge ships in the Pacific where he did two tours, I guess they're called, on an aircraft carrier, which is a scary place to be a lot of the times, and had a lot of different mechanical jobs there. By the time he got home, he married, and he started having children. So there are 3 in his family right now. And he started going to college for a little bit, but really needed to work in order to support that burgeoning family. So he became a mechanic from a lot of his background, particularly with the Navy, and has been in that realm for the next 3 decades. So why is he well known? Why is he famous? Because he was working in the Kellogg's plant, and Kellogg's wanted to cut the union benefits, the workers' benefits, and get rid of a good number of jobs. So he became president of the union and initiated a strike that became 77 days long against this major company. And it got national headlines, and it became a big deal among the other unions and among the working class entities. And eventually Kellogg's backed down. They didn't cut benefits 1 iota, and they didn't get rid of a single job. So he was considered a big hero. Kellogg's, surprise, fired him right away. So since then, he's been working in other mechanical related jobs, but he's stayed very close to the union leadership also. So what are his stands? On his website, he first says Navy man and then says mechanic, and then he says independent. And in a state where it's 50% Republican and where they own all the seats, the feeling is it's probably not that great to run as a Democrat. And so it's probably safer to run as an independent. And again, I've never heard the Dem Party, say he's our guy. So his issues, his big thing of why is he running? He's more, he positions his work ethic as his strongest backbone. Sorry, I need a sip of something, but I don't have a sip. And he says Congress is or the Senate specifically, because he's running for the Senate, is the most in need of fixing of any entity, any institution in the United States. Some of us could agree with some of that. Um, from an issue standpoint, he thinks there's undue corporate influence. Surprise. He really upholds workers' rights, and the underlining for all that is economic fairness. And in very Republican Nebraska, there are a lot of working class people who are Republican who are disaffected at this point. And you know what's happened to the farms with tariffs and everything, and with the up and down and in and out for everything. And Medicare and Medicaid, I don't know the percentages there, but there are a good number of people who need that also. So just as we're seeing in so much of the country, and particularly in red states, there are a lot of people who are questioning who's in power right now. Not necessarily in love with the Democrats, but definitely questioning the Republicans. And thank heavens we're winning all of those races. So he positions himself as speaking from lived experience, not from just party ideology. In 2024, he took his first run in politics, and that there was a different Senate seat up for grabs then, a woman named Deb Fischer. And everybody was shocked at how well he did. He didn't win that seat, as is obvious, but he got so close that it was a big shock. So his name is already out there, and having gotten way more votes than the 26% for the Democrats would have given him out of that full electorate. And now, therefore, running for the other Senate seat, he's already started that campaign a few years ago. So, and there are no polls that I could find, but he's got a decent shot. And again, Nebraska has probably fewer people than Alaska, but I should go get that number too. And a dollar spent there means an awful lot, particularly when you're speaking to this audience of people who are ready for a change and ready to hear something else. So I'm really glad they chose this race as one of the ones to support.
So the question I would have there, along with the Bill Hill, is as an independent, then who do they caucus with if they get elected? Does it make a difference? And do we need to, because I don't know what that means. Do they have, does an elected have to caucus with somebody in order to be able to vote, or to, they can just hang out and show up for votes?
It's hanging out. Who do you talk with? So Angus King in Maine is independent and has always caucused with the Dems. There's only one vote I know of where he really went against the.
But I guess I'm asking all of you, since I really don't know that much about it. Does it?
Well,
Do
Bernie,
we have? Is that something to be concerned with?
Bernie also is an independent, and he caucuses, but they can choose
with the
caucus.
Dems. With the Dems, he caucuses with the Democrats.
Yes, he
So
also
not-
caucuses.
So not so much of a concern then.
But Nancy, even a Democrat doesn't have to caucus with the Democrats. It's
True.
purely their option.
Yeah.
So his stands are much more Democrat in orientation. And, some of the Dems are getting it that we need to not be Wall Street. So hopefully that would happen. Was somebody else about to speak?
Yeah, I can't find the raise your hand feature. Sorry.
That's okay. Who is
When I-
talking? I can't.
This is Ben Stetson.
Oh, this is Ben. Good.
Yeah. Independent, when someone's elected as an independent, do they count in deciding which party is the majority party if they caucus with a particular party?
That is a great question. Marshall.
Okay. The majority party is whoever gets the most votes in a vote.
No, but Marshall, in the Senate, if it's a 49-49,
Yes.
if it's a 50, as long as he's caucusing with and going with the Democratic orientation, he's still, let's say the Dems have 52 or the Dems have 51, even if it's 50-50, no, 49, 49. Well, if he were caucusing with, if he were voting with the Dems, that's still a vote. I mean, he votes for a bill or against a bill.
Right.
So if he were voting for the side that the Dems were lining up against, that's what we need him to do.
To me,
Yeah,
the
the-
question is,
Who's the
if they're
majority?
always
Oh.
voting with the Dems,
Yeah, who's the
that
majority
mean the
party?
leader of the Senate is
Thank you.
a Dem? Yeah,
Yes. If
That's
there
a
were
very good
49,
question.
if there were 49 Democrats and 49 Republicans and 2 independents,
correct.
if if 2 independents voted with the one of the parties in a vote to determine who is the majority party, that party would be the majority party.
But Ben,
Because-
I'm hearing who is the leader of the Democratic Party, and does that person, a la, well, it would be the vice president who would throw the defining
That's a
vote.
separate, no,
No,
that's a
separate
separate,
issue.
totally separate issue. The vice president only votes if there's a tie vote.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if there are 49 Democrats and 49 Republicans, if 2 of the independents, let's say, voted when they're voting to see who is going to be the leader of the Senate,
Oh, I get you, when they're picking the
then
president. Yeah.
if they voted as a Democrat for the Democrats, then the Democrat would be the majority party.
Right.
And then they would take a vote to see who is going to be the leader of the Senate, and they would figure out who's going to be the leader of the Senate.
That is such a good question, Marshall. Yeah, I think we would, because when you're
Yeah.
looking at the chart and they've got all the red seats on one
Yeah.
side and the blue on the other,
Yeah.
they don't show the independents.
Right. They show.
Well, yeah, they
They
show
do.
them as
they
a
show
blank
who
seat.
They're
caucuses
white.
with them.
They're white.
Yeah.
I think they
Oh,
show
are
them,
they?
but it's white.
Yes.
But Ben, thank you. Ben, what happened when it was 50-50?
Well,
Well,
if it's
I think as
50-50,
Marshall said,
then the vice president breaks the tie.
To
Yeah,
determine,
yeah.
to
So,
determine which party gets to
The ranking
elect-
party.
no, but there is, Ben's saying if there's no ranking party from the standpoint of they each have an equal number of senators, the big parties do, is there a ranking party? Is
no,
that
I
your
think
question, Ben?
Marshall has said that they actually have an election of the
Yes.
100 members. And
Yes.
the winner of that election is the majority leader.
Yes.
right.
Right. See,
Oh,
it's
that's
it's,
right.
it's an agnostic. It's really an agnostic system. We call them red and blue, but if half of them were independents, but they all voted with the Democrats, then they would be a majority party.
Thank you, Marshall.
Yeah.
Nancy.
No, I was just
But if it's
reiterating.
50-50, and then I think the vice president determines the vote, and that would be the majority party, whoever that person voted for.
So the message is we need 5 Senate seats that we pick up.
Or 4.
We will look at more senators in the ensuing months as we go through this. We only have 1 this time. Nancy, do you have a thought or a question?
Mm-mm.
You
Your
have a
hand's
hand up, though,
Yeah.
No, I was already answered.
but your hand is up electronically.
It
That's-
is? Oh.
Yeah,
It is? Oh.
it
Oh
sneaks
my
in there.
goodness. You know what? I I did not physically do that. Zoom picked it up when I raised my hand and did that.
Oh my God.
Oh
Whoa,
my
this is
gosh.
AI. AI is creeping in. Whoops. Good
Okay.
and bad, but
What?
okay, now we have Brad Harvey, and this is Bill Newells.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Marsh, you have Sean McCann.
No, we already
was
did
me.
Sean McCann.
Okay, well, who do you have then?
I have Brad Harvey and Paige Cognetti.
Uh-oh, I gave them to Bill.
Oh, well, which
So
one does
I
Bill
didn't know.
Bill, what do
Bill,
you have?
Bill did both.
And Bill, you're muted, so we don't know.
I bet it's
I know I'm muted. Marshall, why don't you just go ahead and I'll fill in anything that I think you missed.
No, you can do it.
well,
Well, I don't know how much information you have. I don't have, okay, you fill in for me, all right?
Well, if you don't have much, I'll do it. Okay.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying you want me to talk or you want to fill, go ahead,
so
whatever
let's
you
let
want.
Marshall start off, and Bill, you
Can-
do this.
Can I share a screen?
Sure.
Somebody, screen sharing isn't on.
It will be shortly.
Okay.
Diana. Oh, is Diana here? Did
Yeah,
we lose
Diana's here.
Diana? Sorry, Diana is the person who can screen share. Can I do this?
Diana, are you here? You're muted.
No, I don't see her on the screen.
She's here.
She's on mine, but she's
It's on
muted.
my screen.
Oh, no, there you are. Yeah.
I made you co-host. That would
Okay.
give you sharing.
Okay. All right.
Hidden.
Let's see. I think this might be the right one, I hope. Let's see. Okay.
You got it.
All right. Bob Harvey. Okay, so he's in Pennsylvania 1. He's running against a Republican, and there's a thought that he can beat him. He's been a teacher for 20 years. He's got political experience, but he's very education oriented. He was the chairman of the social studies department for a number of years at his technical high school that he is in. He was then the township on the board of supervisors of the township he lived in. Then became the chairman for a long time, and then he ran for the board of the Bucks County Commissioners, basically a board of supervisors, and he became the chair of that for a couple terms, including currently. So his priorities. Can you read what I have up there?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so his priorities are repeal the Trump tariffs, support small businesses with access to capital, and reduce bureaucratic roadblocks, raise the federal minimum wage, and he's a union member. Proud, he says. So that's a goodie. He's for campaign finance reform, to get dark money out of elections, ban member of Congress from trading individual stocks, reform the tax code to raise taxes on billionaires and large corporations, and to cut the regulatory red tape for building homes for middle-class Americans. You know, a lot of motherhood and apple pie issues, but he states them clearly and doesn't hide behind verbiage, although I cut a lot of his verbiage out. As I said, you know, he taught for 20 years and is very education oriented, and therefore he wants to do a lot in education, like investing in early childhood education, pre-K and kindergarten. He feels that it's important to expand access to technical education and civics education, which my experience was that it was a very important part of my education. And I understand that it's cut out a lot now, which is not good. Ensure that all students get real world personal finance skills while they're in high school. Anyway, focusing on infrastructure, he's hot to modernize it, and he put in cut carbon emissions. He understands that's a big issue. And build on the Infrastructure Act to repair roads, bridges, and public transit he makes a point of. And I already mentioned his build homes, but I want to get to the healthcare because that's a critical issue. He wants to reverse the healthcare cuts, restore crucial funding for programs like Medicaid, and make sure there's access, including dental, vision, and mental health care services. I didn't see anywhere where he said he was for Medicare for all or single payer or any other buzzwords around it, but he does write, I cut out a lot of the verbiage, but he does write a lot about getting health care that's more inclusive and affordable. And he makes no bones about that abortion is health care and that he will vote to fund Planned Parenthood. And that he wants to expand access to affordable care and lower, which may be expand access to affordable care may be his way of talking about Medicare for all that doesn't muddy the waters and lower prescription drug costs. So that's what I have for Bob Harvey. Now, we talked in the beginning that we're trying to focus on areas that are either winnable in an open seat or flippable. And the estimate by analysis is that this is a flippable seat. And of course, if we can flip this seat and a couple of others in Pennsylvania, what that means is there will be coattails to pull in votes to vote for the Democratic senator as well and the governor. So it's really critical to try to get as many Republican seats in Pennsylvania flipped because of the coattails that not only because we can flip the House, but also because of the coattails for the Senate and governor race. So that's my pitch for him, Bob Harvey. And if I
Can you hear me?
if I can figure out how to get out of sharing,
Can you guys hear me?
let's see.
Yes. Are you owner? Marshall, can you pause 1 minute? Bill,
Yeah.
is that you who's owner?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you. But
I'm
I'm
trying to
sorry.
unmute myself.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find out if you guys can hear me,
Yes.
because I'm
Oh,
not sure if
okay.
I'm muted
Yeah,
or
we
not.
hear you.
Okay, okay. And meanwhile, we have a person who's called owner on this. Can you identify yourself
Gail, I
and
think.
speak now?
Well, I
owner-
tried to put my name on there. I don't know if I don't know myself
It's
as owner. I
Gail.
thought
Oh,
I
it's
put my name
Gail.
on there.
Sorry.
Gail,
No,
yeah.
Gail. Actually, Gail has a question and she had raised her hand, Bill. Gail, welcome. So glad you could be here.
Yeah, I don't know why my computer did that. When he says he's for all those aspects of medical care, it makes me think that he may actually be a proponent of Medicare Advantage, which would not be a good thing, right? Because
No.
Why don't you think it could be Medicare for all?
well,
I went to, it sounds like Medicare for all for me, except some people don't buy into Medicare for all, so he's taking a safer position.
but Medicare doesn't include all those things. You can support
No, sorry. Medicare for all does include all those things.
Oh,
And that's the bill that
That's right.
Bernie and Pramila Jayapal are introducing year after year, which one day we'll get through.
Okay, all right, that would be nice.
Good point. If it had been,
Yeah, okay.
worry.
Just sort of point that out. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. No, but I mean, listening to what you delineated, he really hit all the major differences between what we've got now and what we hope to get. So thank you.
Let me just add a little bit on
Yeah.
Harvey, okay?
Yes.
One thing I think that's really significant is in 2020 when he joined the County Board of Commissioners, where he's been a leader And that's why he's in a position to run for Congress right now. It was the first time in 40 years that the Dems took over locally and swung control of Bucks County. 40 years, Republican control was swung by the Dems. So I think that's a significant thing to be aware of. Also, Buck County is a county that Trump narrowly won in this last election. So it's a vulnerable county to go from red to blue. I also want to add a little bit more on health.
We lost you, Bill.
You're frozen.
Cuts that the
Bill-
current
Bill,
incumbent
sorry.
is responsible.
Sorry, Bill, we lost you for a bit in there. You froze. So could you go back a sentence for us? You've got
Which
such
sentence
good
did I?
stuff. We don't know which one
after
you
he
missed.
swung the Bucks County.
Trump barely eked by
One.
Bucks County. Bucks County is a very vulnerable county of which he's a lifelong resident and leader in that county. Okay, so he's very well known. He got elected to the Board of Commissioners when the Democratic representatives did a flip against the Republican control of the local the local county commissioners. Okay, so it went from red to blue. Just to expand on what he said about healthcare is he's committed to reversing the healthcare cuts that his incumbent guy he's running against is responsible for helping pass in the so-called beautiful bill. Those cuts would put life-saving care back for many families while taking away and reversing the taxpayer tax.
We lost you again.
You're frozen again.
Tax breaks for billionaires. He's fighting to restore. To just give up. I'm on my phone. My laptop's not working tonight in terms of audio, so maybe I should just give up.
Well, we got the anti-billionaires part.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know what you're hearing away. I don't know if I should say anymore. Marshall captured.
Yeah, we heard 97% of what you said.
Yeah,
Great.
It was just a couple of seconds here and there that you cut out, so it was good.
Well, just to respond to Gail, here's the statement, Gail. No one should go bankrupt just because they got sick. There's no reason the wealthiest country in the world should have an inaccessible healthcare system because it's too expensive. I will protect and expand Medicare and Medicaid and access to affordable care and lower the cost of prescription drugs. I'll take action to ensure no one is buried under crushing medical debt. How's that?
Yeah.
I cut all that out because I thought it was obvious that he was pro. Yeah.
No, that's great. He's got my vote.
I was just trying to be
Yeah, no, that's great to fill in.
I mean, I think it's significant. In democracy, I'm sorry, Focus for Democracy, this was one of the key races that, besides Cognetti, which I'll let Marshall talk about because he doesn't break up like I do. Those two races in Pennsylvania were endorsed by Focus for Democracy as two key swings where they could go red to blue.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Bucks County is not that far from Philadelphia, but it is more rural. That's where Andy Wyeth lived and painted all those farmland photos, but it's more Philadelphia than anything else. So I was surprised it was that Republican. Gail, you have your hand up. Is it from before or? Well, just a sec. I see Gail so far.
Yeah, but Gail's
okay. Went away. Good, Ms. Ashley.
Okay, hearing all this about him and the fact that he's from a swing state, I think this is the kind of candidate we've been talking about invited to speak at one of our meetings.
Yes.
I think he would be a good candidate for that, to help him become better known out here, out in ATM country.
Very good point. And boy, after the last election, we really know what a swing state Pennsylvania is.
Yeah.
Good point, Ashley. But good lens through which to look at candidates, too. Thanks for that point. Okay, Sir Marshall, are you on for your next candidate?
Okay. The next candidate is Paige Cognetti, and Paige, hold on one second here.
Pennsylvania, we know that.
No, I'm just trying to get this
Is
up.
that me?
Okay, so Paige Cognetti is running against another right-wing Republican who's the incumbent. She is currently the mayor of Scranton. She was the first woman elected mayor of Scranton, and she surprised everybody, but it was a very corrupt administration that she got rid of. I think the mayor resigned because he was caught doing something terrible. I don't remember what. Anyway, she was reelected with 71% of Scranton, which is a major city in Pennsylvania. Her priorities are break up. She's very economic and managerially oriented. You will see. She's for breakup of huge monopolies that hurt small businesses and raise costs. And she wants to bring more competition into the community by ending big box monopolies. These are issues that you don't hear discussed a lot, but she's oriented in this direction. She wants to strengthen unions. This is I believe Scranton's a big steel area and heavy industry, heavy industry area, and she wants to make it easier to join and start a union. She's a champion of small business. She wants to get rid of these, hidden fees that hit people, including things like capping credit card fees, which are basically usurious. Prevent healthcare industry middlemen from denying care and medications prescribed by the physician that thinks you need it, and to reform insurance systems so that people get what they paid for and they can't get denied for things like healthcare and flooding and things like that.
That's a Medicare for All supporter.
Yeah, but she's very focused on these kinds of issues, as you can see. And she wants to work to reshore manufacturing jobs. That's what has gutted a lot of what we used to be able to get decent jobs on. And so she wants to restore those jobs, including continuing to add more defense manufacturing in the area. And hopefully one day we won't need it, but I guess we need it. Cut red tape on make permitting make sense, allow more businesses to start, grow, and thrive. Move faster on infrastructure projects. She loves to cut red tape and get people out of the way, and she's apparently been extremely successful in Scranton. She's increased the number of small businesses and housing there by quite a bit, and she wants to do this on a national scale. And she wants to, stop these crazy broad tariffs that only help, as she says, the big guys and hurt families. So that is who she is. She doesn't have anything about reproductive rights that I can find, and which is an interesting omission. But everything she's focusing on is administrative, managerial, and financial. That's who she is. She's young. I don't know exactly how young she is, but her photos show her. She's got two young kids that look like they're maybe like 4. She was pregnant when she got elected. So she's a young, energetic person. But I can't tell you what her reproductive health position is like. So that's who she is. And also the Focus for Democracy think she's a good candidate to win. And again, for the same reason, flips a red to blue, and also can get some coattails for Senate and governor races.
Amen. And Scranton is not that populous an area, but very coal mining, steam. I didn't even know about the steel mills. And it's where Biden was from once upon a time.
He was born there. Yeah.
But for a young person, she's made tracks too. And Marshall, it was very interesting to have you position her and prove her orientation toward economics and sort of business in a way, because that's the last thing I would think of for the Scranton area. But she's calling a spade and saying, this is what we really need, fair economics for here.
And she did that in Scranton. You know, she increased I forget the exact numbers, but she increased the numbers of small businesses by a huge amount in Scranton, and the housing. 1,500 new houses were built, and that's a small. I mean, it's not a big city. 1,500 new houses is pretty big, I guess. It seems to me.
We'd love to get that.
Yeah.
Here.
Well,
So,
I see a couple of maybe red flags with her. I would not, she doesn't mention most of the progressive issues that are dear to us. And like she talks about controlling the healthcare industry middlemen, not getting rid of them, which we would say, getting rid of the middlemen. She just says, don't let them make, so much money.
well,
and
from denying care and medication, because basically they're the insurance companies,
the private insurance companies. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I read that one differently, because there are middlemen in the pharmacy world that are really cleaning up, that are completely unnecessary. And middlemen, that's when Wall Street came in and bought up all these entities. We saw something about ACO REACH, where they are given, under the current guy in the White House, a 40% upfront handout from Medicare to manage practices, meaning there's only 60% left for the physicians to use to take care of us. And that they're middlemen. They're middlemen who know zero about healthcare, but see what a big pot it is. So I read middlemen as, oh, she gets it. And I also think,
but again, she talks about reforming them rather than
true, very true.
getting rid of them.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
The other thing so there's more to dig into, no question. The other thing about some of the way she says things is, well, I just think we do need to go deeper into all of that. But Medicare Advantage is run by private health insurance companies who are middlemen. And, that's what Congress is beginning to wake up to try and get rid of, even our friend Liccardo. So I'm leaping, and I'm hoping that it would go that direction. But I think the more we could get some of these people to give us even 10 minutes of their time, I don't care if it's East Coast, they're trying to get elected. And as Ashley well pointed out, we're the ATM machine. So if we could have them talk to us, we can really hone in on those excellent questions and say, by the way, where do you stand on? And
Right.
hope that they talk to us not just because we're a certain audience, but that they really mean it too.
Well, in our initial discussions, we talked about what's our goal here?
Flipping the house.
What is our real goal here? Are we going to try to save the democracy, or are we going to split hairs about individual ways
Issue.
they've written up their coded language? I see this as coded language personally. And what I actually wanted to point out is that this is what we're trying to do. Elect enough Democrats to flip the House and Senate, or do we want to focus only on the most progressive candidates, regardless of their ability to win the election?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not what I'm saying, but our resources are limited. We're not going to be able to support every Democrat running for office. So, we're trying to decide where to put our emphasis.
Right, and exactly, and our emphasis on those who think
So a
we can
big thing
flip.
would be what chance they have of flipping
Yes,
a position. So yeah, that's important. Absolutely.
and she's one of those candidates, and that's why she's on the list. And as I said, I don't know what her position is on abortion rights, reproductive rights, because she doesn't have anything. But if she's going to be a vote to block appointments of judges, and especially to the Supreme Court, I don't care what else she stands for.
Is she running for the Senate?
No, Senate, Supreme Court.
House.
Yeah,
Uh,
but there are plenty of things House does also for the
Right.
budget. But Marshall and Ashley, I think this gives us a great path forward for continuing to follow these people and for our questions about all of them. I mean, I don't really know where healthcare is with my guy for the Senate, Osborne. To be able to interact with them and from time to time bring them in. But where it's clear, great, it's clear. Where we have some of those issues, I think it'd be great to have us who own them dig into them further and be able to talk with their campaigns even. We have, Nancy, is it 25 or 27 candidates we're starting with to look through? It's some high number like that. We can guess that. We can just say that for now.
Okay.
Because and among those, we don't need everybody to win to get that. We sure need more senators. We need 5 senators to win in my book. But again, small states. Alaska's one of those. We can end up with some of those. So I think Ashley's point, Marshall, is great though, of which, ideally we end up with which of the 25 races, as well as Gail and some of us have a few more races we'd like to add to that pot. How do we come out with sort of a first tier and then maybe a second tier once we've gone through more of them? Ms. Nancy.
Yeah, so sort of 3 thoughts. First on the language that we're looking at for some of the platforms and for these candidates. One thing, granted, Ashley, they may not sound quite that right, but one thing I keep in mind is we don't know who their audience is in their state, and maybe they have to do and present things in a certain way, which is why it's up to us to kind of do the deep dive, right? And maybe that deep dive doesn't include inviting them to talk, but maybe we initially get a set of concrete, well-written questions that would be like the same set of questions that we would give all of them and ask them to do a recorded response to the questions instead of trying to meet with us and making sure we have the people to receive them and enough people coming, that we just have a set of questions that they can respond to recorded and send back to us, for example. But the other thing is, there may be candidates now that as we get into some of these special elections and we start getting into the primaries, there may be some things that are heating up that are endorsed by other groups that we want to pick up and consider. Because I just kind of see this as further deep dives and a growing list that we're going to continue to call and refine.
Evolving,
Yeah.
both pluses and minus, additions and maybe some that might go away. That is so healthy.
Elsa,
Nancy, thank you.
Elsa,
Sorry.
can you hear me? This is
Yes.
Ben Stetson. I'm sorry, I can't raise my hand and you can't see my face. But I think all of you are, I'm agreeing with all of you. I liked how the head of the DNC stated it after I think Mondami won New York and said, well, now to be a Democrat, you have to be as progressive as Mondami. And he said, we're a big party. You want the people who get elected because they represent the area they are running in, okay? She got 71% when she was reelected. She's got my vote. I don't care if she matches all of my litmus test questions. I don't want to ask litmus test questions. If she can flip a seat from GOP to Dem, how much money can I give you? Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Exactly. Yes.
We're writing her, Ben, and giving her your address.
This is not like in the 1990s. This is a existential issue about saving the democracy, and I think we're trying to deep dive too much and trying to get too many details. And what we need to do is, these are the best candidates we have right now, with the best chance of getting the House and the Senate. So let's move on to the next gang.
Oh, but does that mean that we don't even need to listen to their qualifications and their platforms? We just check their election results when they've run for smaller offices?
Oh, yeah, that's what we mean. No, I agree with Nancy, what Nancy just said. Nancy said, hey, I mean, if I'm misinterpreting you, but basically, I think what Nancy said, and I agree with, we could give them a call and say, you have sort of danced around a couple issues we need information on. Where do you stand on abortion rights? Where do you stand on Medicare for all? And report back. If they say, look, I can't publicly say this, but of course I'm for, or no, I'm not for that. And we can report back. We don't need to have, we don't have the bandwidth and we don't have the attendance to have this kind of program of inviting people. I think we should just bite the bullet, give them a call, and say, where do you stand?
Great.
And it's also
you end up with tears.
And it's also our chance to influence them when we
That's
talk
true
to them.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've already raised $30 for you.
And $1's worth. But I am so happy with the way this conversation's going. This pot we're looking at will evolve. And if we can end up with that tiering, we'll know so much more about them because we'll keep educating ourselves over time. Then, I'm not going to give however many dollars to every single one of those candidates. I do have a limited pot, it turns out. And so if we can help make some kind of difference also by phone banking, though.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. If we can promote and jump on to some of these bigger activities,
because
with regard to how we follow up with that, there are other strategies that we've mentioned in other previous meetings that maybe not everybody was on when we were talking about it, but there are other strategies that have been recommended that means that you don't have to give money to each of these individual candidates, although you can, please do. But there are groups that are very strategically focusing on those districts to get out the vote where they think getting out the vote means more Democrats.
And what about
this is-
Janelle Stelson? Is there going to be any time for her tonight?
Yes, there is, but Gail, we're discussing each candidate after each presentation.
Well, you're
So-
discussing a whole
You're on.
range of.
Gail, we have another 50 minutes for the meeting.
All right, just so I know where it's going.
But we did get sidetracked, so maybe we ought to have Gail give Janelle Stelson.
Sure.
Okay. Gail, you're on. Well, it was because of questions that were associated with that last candidate, though, too. So I don't think total sidetrack. Ms. Gail, you're on. with
Okay, well,
Janelle.
Janelle Stelson is a former Republican and a former TV news anchor. She does have some academic background in government, having studied some at university.
Sorry, and what state is she from?
She's in Pennsylvania,
Okay, good.
District 10, so, central Pennsylvania, very important. She has previously run against her likely opponent, who is named Scott Perry. And at that
Who's
time, she lost by,
terrible.
pardon?
Who's terrible.
She lost by a very narrow margin. So
Was
my
she a
guess-
Republican or a Dem when she ran? And that's my last interruption, I promised.
She must have been a Democrat if she was running against him.
Okay.
So my estimation, not on the website, is that given the decline in the popularity of the Republican Party and of MAGA recently, if that decline holds steady, she should have a very good chance because she lost by a very narrow margin. She ought to be able to win this time. I did not take her campaign promises very seriously because we all know what happens to campaign promises, but maybe that was a lack. She is endorsed by a long list of Democratic and some Republican political leaders, which does not float my boat, or probably yours. She is also, however, endorsed by several unions and by Emily's List. Her primary opponents, I looked into them in case any of them were more Democratic, but any of them seem to have a chance. There's an Army veteran and a county commissioner, but only 2 of them have websites and none of them list any endorsements. So it looks like she's the only candidate that has a prayer. Now, I do hope that you notice, well, in time to give them some money, that there are 3 people who are recommended by Indivisible who have shown a lot of political smarts in what they do. And there's Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota, Brad Lander in New York, and Jasmine Clark in Georgia. But I didn't do a big dive on those, but I would tend to take Indivisible seriously. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. We will get into those people next. So thank you, Gail.
I
Keep
have
your eye on.
I have a question for Gail, and for everybody here. Her website says she is a nonpartisan candidate. Does that mean she's not actually running as a Democrat?
Whoa, if I didn't notice that. I just thought since she was on that list that she was running as a Democrat.
Marshall, you gave us the list of 7. And
yes.
on that list, she is listed.
As a Democrat?
Yeah,
Huh.
she is.
Okay.
Okay, all I know is that I pulled up her website, because when you said she used to be a Republican, I was quite curious. And at the bottom of the page that says meet Janelle, at the very bottom, well, almost the bottom, the last paragraph says, as a nonpartisan trusted voice, Janelle Stelson, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that's interesting.
That would fit in her positions. I only glanced at them, to tell you the truth, but she was in favor, as I could see, of mom and apple pie. But I don't usually pay much attention to what people are promising unless they have a track record, which she doesn't because she's never held political office.
Yeah. Well, Gail, in the beginning, we talked about a Senate race in Nebraska in which the Democratic Party is declining to support one of the Democrats running in the primary.
Yeah, I heard
because-
that. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm open to hearing things like that.
Sounds like she has a pretty good chance, and that Scott Perry is really worth getting rid of.
Oh, yeah. Ashley, you have a question.
Well, I just was pointing out, I mean, the Democratic Party in California is not supporting, is not endorsing on a lot of races. And it's only because nobody reached the plateau where they
60%.
earned it. So it doesn't necessarily mean they didn't like either of them. It's that they didn't like one of them enough more than the other candidates.
Mhm.
So it's not necessarily a black eye.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think it's not a black eye at all in the Nebraska case because I laud it. If you think it's not going to come to a hill of beans to support a Dem there, and it also sounded as though they didn't think much of the Dems running in Nebraska.
Mm.
So, and that I didn't read in detail at all. But in that case, I am grateful to see this party we're members of be able to have that flexibility.
Yeah, but Janelle, I don't know about a party endorsement, but just a
Well-
long list of political leaders
So
endorsing her.
Ballotpedia has her listed in the Democratic Pennsylvania's 10th congressional district as a Democrat.
So she may be registered as a Dem, and Marshall, I wonder if on her website saying that gives her a little leeway that she thinks she might need with some voters.
Well, that's possible because her website is very straightforward about she's pro-choice, but when you read her health care, she's for lowering premiums and making sure everybody can have affordable health care, but she does not want to mention Medicare or Medicaid and does not.
Yeah.
So, but it's a long write-up where she's criticizing Scott Perry, who voted against, lowering healthcare costs, etc. So she doesn't take strong positions or any position, as far as I can tell, on Medicare or Medicaid, but is cognizant that there are problems. That's basically all she's saying is, I'm aware of it, but she's pro-choice.
Well, good. Marsh, the other thing I wonder, and this is me trying to find the silver lining, is I wonder if she's, for a number of her issues, hitting just below where, or just enough of what she needs to differentiate herself from Scott.
I
Versus, I don't know, need to go all the way to gold.
I think you're right. And I think a lot of these candidates are treading, trying to thread the needle because Scott Perry has been in, he keeps winning. He's in a Republican district and she says, he's not good.
And he's a creep. Yeah.
And not only that, he's a creep. She doesn't say that.
Well, good for her. Good for her. Oh, this is being recorded, but we're not sending it.
Pretty, and she has long blonde hair.
Oh, so that can help.
She
I have
doesn't
to-
use ad hominem attacks. That's all.
I'm just going to segue or go where I shouldn't right now, but Kimberly Ellis, whom you may know of,
Yeah.
Sacramento Bee calls her the most influential person in Sacramento who is not in elected office. She once said to me that politicians are people who weren't good enough looking to be in Hollywood. And I just laughed and laughed. But I mean, in this day of television and social media, it helps to be a pretty face. So
Long blonde hair doesn't hurt, with a certain demographic. Yeah.
That's why I became a scientist.
well, we can, a lot of us can say that. I've got to say, not all scientists, though. Okay, those are our 7. And we're also going to hear from Nancy, and then Nancy about the convention. She has a number of notes and reactions to that. This being her first convention, I think, too.
Yeah,
And
what's
we,
my
we know
first?
that
Yeah.
Ashley and Diana were both delegates there, and I was there some of the time, but couldn't be there all of the time. So, but Nancy, if you don't mind, before we get there, I
Sure.
think it would be great to see among our assembled crowd, we do have a list of at least 18 candidates we want to address next in the next meeting, which is in early April. And I'd love to know, to start off with, if any of the people who didn't own a candidate this time would like to take one of the candidates that we will bring forth next time. Ms. Ashley, great. And Ben, are you dying to put your hat in this ring?
And you're,
Yeah. I can
Yes?
take a candidate. Who do you want me to take?
Great, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Great, thank you so much. And Joanne, I see you there. Are you interested in looking into somebody? This is not onerous particularly. It is interesting.
I know. I always have so much trouble with my thing, and we're very busy at school right now.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, no, you're allowed to say no. I'm calling on people because I don't see a lot of hands going up. Thank you, Ashley.
If I can
Thank
get
you, Joanne.
internet still.
once you've done one or two, you realize it's really easy to do. It seems daunting, but once you do it for one, you say, "Oh, the system is the same for each one. It's easy."
The other thing I find is that they're all so individual, so different, and you come to know their context, which sure helps me to get out of our blue bubble here, our particularly progressive blue bubble within this screenful. So I'm just going to keep going. Shirley, do you have any interest in considering a candidate for us? Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
Shirley, oh, there she is.
yes.
Yeah, I thought, isn't that what we're doing with the task force group too?
Yes, yes, exactly. So you're willing to take a candidate?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Larry, how about you?
You're muted, Larry.
Larry, I'm going to go to Mary next, who has nothing on her plate, I know. Mary, are you interested in taking a candidate?
But I would love to talk about any of the candidates that I've seen. I saw Roy Cooper. I saw Sherrod Brown twice. I saw Mary Portola recently. She was amazing.
Cool. You're cleaning up the Senate.
These are
That's
Senate
cool.
candidates, but I would love to talk about any of them. They're just amazing candidates.
Well,
we
Mary,
love-
may we move to you next then, as soon as I go through this full list, which I think we may have done. But if you could talk with us about that, that too would be great. And Gail, you notice in the very end, had 3 more candidates she wanted to add. So I think we should talk about that too.
Yeah,
But Gail,
into them.
yeah, Gail, if we're going to hear from Mary first, and then I'd love to go to you. Mary,
Well, I didn't
what would you
prepare
like to do
anything,
with
but
the
I
Senate?
did see all of these people, and everybody there, not just me, was blown away by them. Roy Cooper was twice governor, twice
fabulous.
AG. He's great at explaining things. All of these people answered questions for like an hour. They were smart. They knew their states really well, and they would answer in terms of their state, not just their personal. Well, in my state, we have a lot of farmers and blah blah. You know what I mean? And they really know their constituents. They've been there a while. They're very competent. I mean, they're just all 3 of these were amazing. They're the top people probably who can win. And they've won before statewide numerous times because Mary Portola was a representative, but Alaska only has 1 rep. So that's like winning a Senate race.
Yeah.
It's very popular. Sherrod Brown in Ohio is extremely popular. I mean, I'm pretty sure these people are going to win, but they're faced with tons of money against them.
Yeah.
And so anything we can do at any level, it doesn't have to be giving them money. It can be giving voter reg groups money in their states. Field Team 6 registering Democrats in those states or whatever it is. at any level. Sometimes the legislative candidates are wonderful, like all those formerly sister district, now states win candidates. I mean, you give them $100, you get a long handwritten letter thanking you, and they use their money really well. And they're, I mean, you don't have to give just to the top candidates, but I really want to focus on the states where there's an important Senate race, at least for a while, until we make sure that they're going to be in a good position. So that's Sherrod Brown in Ohio, Roy Cooper in North Carolina. Mary Peltola was amazing in Alaska.
Yeah.
So
Mary, I think we are all ready for these people, but I think it'd be great to go into their contexts and why they're worth phone banking for, giving money to.
Definitely.
Driving
I don't
to.
want to do that now. I take your time now, but I can write something up.
Yeah. That would be great, and we can add it to the website. And Mary, would you like to talk with us about them a little bit next time? About
sure.
why they're going to win and what they most need from us.
Sure.
Okay, so let me do a quick recap. Hold on. So I'm going to add to the list Mary Peltola for Alaska. Going to add to the list Roy Cooper for North Carolina. Sherrod Brown in Ohio. Do we care about James Tellerico in that Texas Senate seat?
Sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe we should wait. I don't know. Personally, I'm going to wait till the runoff. If Cornyn loses the primary, it's going to be a cakewalk.
Wait.
The Senate runoff.
The Republican.
The Senate runoff.
Oh, I see.
Republicans.
Well, I'm going to put it on the list, but we don't have to work on it. We can just park it on the list for now.
Sure.
Right. And then the other one, what about, are we interested in Maine, Susan Collins, like either Graham Plattner, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to add that. I'll add that.
But may I ask one thing? Is he already on one of our lists?
He is.
Yeah, and what about, and isn't Mary already on one of our lists?
She is, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm just making sure I'm just making sure I got them all collected here.
Good.
And then there's one more I'm kind of interested in that I like to put on, and that's Joni Ernst in Iowa. I think Nathan Sage and Zach Wells both are looking good in Iowa. So,
and Mary, isn't Iowa one of the states we can?
It is, but I personally,
I'm
going to wait to see what happens there because
absolutely. But I just want to get it on the list for future consideration.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's also Turek, Turek, the guy. He seems to be very popular also.
Which one?
He's a basketball player, but he's handicapped. He plays in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
Who did you say again?
What's his name?
Turek.
Illinois. Got it. Okay.
No, Iowa.
No. Josh, no.
Turek
Are you sure?
Iowa. Yeah.
Wait, Mary, can you say it more slowly without me talking over you?
Turek. Turek. This is his last name. He's in Iowa.
You're right. Oh, sorry. I got it in the wrong column. Sorry.
No problem. But we don't know what's going to happen there. It might be nice to let things settle a little bit and get a little more information. But he sounds very good also.
Great. So we've got plenty of people to be supporting right now, so we can do some waiting on that also.
Oh yeah. But I just want to make sure we capture. Okay, got it. Okay.
And so is that 5 Senate seats now, or are we up to 4?
You got Osborne, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And you think Osborne's worth supporting, Mary?
I do. Yeah.
Good.
He's running a great campaign, and he's running against
Amen.
A NAPO billionaire. His father has given a ton of money to Republican candidates. He's like bankrolled all these Republican candidates in Nebraska for years.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
That whole thing, and he's running against this pro-labor guy who was, I think he was a mechanic then. Was he? Anyways,
he was a mechanic.
Working families against them. It's like the perfect setup.
Yeah, great. We did do a précis on him a little earlier.
Oh, sorry, I was in the
No. But we liked him very much. At least I liked him very much.
Good. I do too.
Okay, good. So are we up? Oh, Maine is the other one. Oh, but you want to wait to see what happens to the primary on that, Maine? On that, Mary?
Me? I don't know.
Maine?
It's Janet Mills or Graham Plattner, and we don't know what's going to happen.
I am pro-Graham, I've got to say. And my sister, who's very party-oriented, started out pro-Janet, but now she's pro-Graham as of yesterday. And she's actually given fundraisers for Roy and and is about to do one for Graham.
Who-
So
yeah.
I think he's moving higher up in party interest. She's my bellwether for how are the conservatives in our party doing. Marshall?
See what happens.
Well, it sounds like I want to sound like a broken record, but it sounds like we need to talk some more about how to target and strategically and make the money go further with strategic giving. And because we can give to one or two or three or four people small amounts, or 10 people small amounts, and a few people larger. But there are some groups that are
funding.
figuring out strategic ways. And so I want to make
Yeah.
a pitch for those of you that have still not tuned in to the Focus for Democracy to listen to how they want to focus money. And it's sometimes not to individual candidates, but to groups that are getting out strategically the people that will vote for them that otherwise won't vote in districts and in areas that we need to flip, and how they figure that out. And so if any of you have not yet tuned in to Focus for Democracy, let me know and I will send you the link.
Marshall, you bring up a point where we have listed candidates so far, and I'm just going to throw out the number 25 or 27 because it's in that ballpark.
Yes.
And here we've only done 7, and we have a lot of discussion, and it's already 8:30. We have a couple more topics to go through. But I wonder, I mean, to me, the Focus for Democracy meeting that I went to had a very interesting analysis of media and of the public relations they have been feeding to different media outlets, and the media outlets they've been helping grow with their funding, so that a lot of what I've been reading in, like the New York Times, are issues that sometimes a little bit take me aback and make me say, oh, gee, they noticed things that I don't think they've typically been picking up, that I pick up through, all the little things we belong to. So I do think they are being effective because they have such a big war chest.
Well,
And-
I just want to interject that when you say media outlets, you have to point out that the media outlets that they're supporting are media outlets that are targeted to the young voters, not
True. Also
old voters. We're not talking about the media outlets that any of us know. We're talking about outlets that young people go to for their information. And these outlets don't say, hey, go vote for this person. They educate them on issues. They talk about recipes or whatever, and then suggest other ways of looking at things, not the kinds of stuff that we fed on. So I just wanted to make clear to those
Oh my
listening,
God.
it's not those kinds of media outlets that we know. These are media outlets that you don't know.
These are media outlets.
No, I gotta know. What media outlets are you talking about? Pray tell, what is that?
Well, if you go on their or listen to the last recording, except I think they don't record.
They do
But-
not record
yeah.
because they don't want it to get in the hands of the opposition.
The other guys,
So
yeah.
what are
And
we
they
talking
list
about?
the
But-
media outlets.
But I'm sorry, Nancy, I'm going to interrupt right there for a minute and say that the thing I haven't heard, Marshall, from you before or from Greg, all I hear about is how much money they collect.
I never tell
then
you that.
wait, no. Well, I hear it up, down, and sideways from Greg. And then from you, I hear they are so strategic and they use data. But I didn't hear the issues that they, how they do it. And it was how they do it that sold me from that one session. So I think it would be helpful to have a session on the last 4 of these. Here are what they've found. And here's why they're worth supporting. But
Go-
here are the group.
Why don't you
that-
go to the next meeting?
I did, Greg. I
No,
went
I
to
mean
the
the next one. The next one. The next
Yeah.
one.
Greg,
So the reason they don't, okay,
Wait,
they,
may I-
but they're not targeting what they're
people,
trying.
I know, you said that very clearly.
Wait,
Greg,
but they're,
I
let me-
just
let me-
went to my first session. It is on my calendar for the rest of Kingdom Come, so I am engaged. But my point is, I think we should have a segment of these meetings where we can recap each month, the last two sessions, and say, so here's what they found. Because that will, engage us all and also help tell us where we can send, for the money part of our
effective
support.
money, yeah.
But we've got a phone bank too, because our money in total, Marsh, is not going to make that kind of hill of bean of difference.
You're
Except
correct.
we talk with friends. Sorry,
You're
Greg.
correct. We cannot give millions of dollars.
But we can help spread the word, Greg, in the way that Marshall.
Yes, you're
both
right.
of both
Yeah,
of
you're
you
right.
keep doing that.
I
So
agree. I agree.
good. And when we hear these issues from individual candidates, that helps us be more encouraged to help those candidates. And I keep saying with phone banking, because we're remote for a lot of these people. I think all of them, though, too. I've got to say, I'm in for turning the Senate.
But I'm still dying to know what are those alternate news outlets that they're listening to.
But Marshall, did you write any of them down? Because I didn't write any of them.
I did some screen captures. Listen,
Good.
I can,
I have them too.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. They go into it. They tell you who these media outlets
Okay, but Marsh, I too have shots, and I can send them to you, Nancy.
Thank you.
She wants to listen to them, Marsh. That's the point.
You can't. You have to tune in. You have to tune in
Marshall.
to your Zoom.
No, Marshall, she
No,
can
that's not what I'm
listen to
asking.
those media outlets.
No, that's
She
not what I'm
definitely
asking.
can.
Oh, I thought
I'm
you
not
meant-
asking.
I
Sorry,
thought you
I'm not
meant-
asking about the meeting. I'm not asking about their meeting. I'm asking about you referred to that young people have a different news places that they go for their news. I want to know
Yes.
what those places are.
Yes. Okay.
And
So-
be able to listen.
And you
find
have
them.
if you have a screenshot of that, send it. I am not sure. I
So
do.
yeah,
I have
whatever you can send me, please.
I have a
Yes,
number of them. And
We're
if I
giving
forget
Ashley a
to-
headache.
Well, they're smiling.
The organizations that looks at the media is Accelerate Change.
Yes.
Oh yes, thank you,
Got
Greg.
it. Thank you,
got
Greg.
it. Yeah, that was, and they cover a lot of those.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you, Greg.
They have like 10 media outlets that
Yeah.
are targeted to different kinds of things. Yeah.
And they're actually
Got it.
buying more and more of them. So they had one stat that was they now reach a majority of, and it was a huge segment of the population. So bigger than Fox News now is that
From
kind of thing.
ages 18 to 35 or something, because those are the most convertible or explainable population. When you get older, it's less and less.
Yeah. So I'm down. I'm Larry. I want to know if you are on now, and if not, I'm going to give you a call. I'll warn you. And you may not be there right now, but I would love to assign you someone. So I'm writing in my notes, call Larry. You're in trouble. And can I, so I think maybe in the org meeting, but, oh, sorry, Joanne, are you in for it now?
Yeah, I'll ask Shirley where to go to get some information. Sure.
Great. Oh, fantastic. Well, the first thing you can do is Google their website.
Yeah.
And I have to say, if you go to ChatGPT, it can give you, and you can just get the app free on your phone. It can give you who's running, who's got a chance, what are their backgrounds, and what are their issues. And how many, what's the state population like? who's registered with what party or independent group. It's a great place to start, and then they give you links to everywhere. It's really, it's fun, and it's very helpful. Okay, so may I suggest that we not in this meeting because we're starting to run out of time. Well, if we have time at the end, we could do it. But Nancy, what I was thinking is we go to your list and people choose from that, from who's not there. And I don't see any reason not to, but push back on it, not to just look at the whole list and have people choose. Is that an idea?
Yeah, we can do that. And just to make sure that the senators that we talked about, those 5 or so names, those aren't on the list yet because we're not going to do those, right?
But
we?
I personally would like to do them because I think we have a good shot at the Senate.
Well, okay. Well, it's going to take me a little, okay.
No, they don't, Mary's covered 3 right now. I've covered 1, the 4th. We can assign Maine as the 5th, because I think Maine is the 5th most people are talking about.
Okay.
I would love to take Maine if nobody else will.
That's an interesting one because the corporate one that they're really putting a lot of money in. What's her name? Mills.
Yeah.
She's a real, moderate to not moderate.
Yeah. But there's some issues. But in talking about Graham, you obviously also talk about his competition.
Graham Plattner?
Yeah. I mean, Graham's the one I would.
Plattner.
Yes, Marsh.
That's his
I understand. Yeah, but his first name is Graham. I often talk about people as Graham, and as by first names. I mean, we can look at both of them for that race. Would anybody mind if I took them? Okay.
Please do.
I'm going to steal them for next time. And Nancy, I mean, do you think, I don't think it's I think it's a good idea, actually. I'll backtrack. Do you have the ability to show that list now, the rest of the list, or not quite yet?
Yep, almost there.
Okay. And I'm just going to repeat while Nancy's bringing it up that at the end of this, those of us who summarized people this time are sending Nancy to put on the website our précis of these people so that we can revisit them over time, since I'm not going to remember a lot of those names. And I think each of us who do own one of those candidates should keep filling in info on them, but not just long pages, but in sections.
So were we adding Natasha Alcala with Graham Plattner then? We're going to do Graham Plattner and.
But no, it's the woman who was vice governor or governor of the state who's retired. Janet Mills, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, and this is for the Maine.
This is Maine Senate.
Senate.
Maine
Okay.
Senate. Mary will know.
It's Mills.
Actually, I don't know if I think it's great to talk about Graham Plattner so we know more about him. But, a lot of women strongly support Governor Mills. She's a 2-time governor, 2-time AG.
Yeah.
She knows people in her state. And older people are going to be supporting her, people who likely vote.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say
don't know. I would sort of, personally, I want to wait till after the primary and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I have $1 million to send either one of them anyway. So I probably just
we told everybody you did.
Let people in Maine figure that out first, and then we'll see what they say. I don't know.
I agree with Mary. I think when it's a primary, I think the people of that district or state should pick their candidate. And then we decide, is that a candidate we want to help or not? But the goal is to get more people elected to take control of the House and hopefully the Senate.
Yeah.
It isn't they line up perfectly with everything I want. I just want them to get elected so we have control of the House and the Senate, period.
So Ben, you are suggesting that we not do this project right now because most of the primaries have not happened. And everybody we've been talking about so far has not been primaried yet.
But also most of the people we're talking about have a good chance because they already have a lot of support. I mean, Focus for
Yes.
Democracy does
True.
pick their
Very true.
candidates based on winnability.
Yeah, it's
You know.
not,
Yeah.
there are other
True for
issues
Dan.
too. I mean, sometimes you want to support a primary because one, you want to get them elected, but also you want them to get early name recognition. And
Yeah.
so, for example, if you wanted Plattner and you thought he could beat Mills, then you would want to push that so that Plattner would get name recognition before the general.
I think it's,
But I
I'd
think
love to hear
Mary's,
about Plattner. I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about Plattner. I'm just
No,
saying.
no, no. I
Actually,
was
we
just
wanna make a
using,
decision
that
there.
was just
Yeah.
an example. That was just
Yeah.
an example. I wasn't.
Yeah. So Mary, I think your point was that when it's a close race, we shouldn't make that a high priority race to pay attention to right now. We should put our efforts into those races where there's a clear front runner that we really can support.
That's what I would do. I mean,
Good.
I
And
agree with
limited-
you.
I'm sorry.
agreed. Okay, I just backed
Agreed.
off Maine. I'm coming back off Maine. I'll do my own looking. Do you have the ability to make that screen larger, Nancy?
Yeah.
And I'm wrong about the number. Looks littler than I thought.
No, it's
How many? 20.
well,
Oh, it's
28
in the 20.
minus 1, 2, it's 27,
Minus 7.
26, 27.
26, yeah.
No, good. I wasn't far off. Okay, great. Can anybody read that or sorry. Nancy, do you want to read some aloud and people will raise their hands?
Sure. Well, okay, so we've got California's 7th, May Vang. We've got California's 22nd, Randy Villegas. And actually, some of my notes from the convention kind of segue into that. There's a concern from the convention about making sure that we secure our new districts that we work so hard to vote on, and that we support old districts that may have lost some Democratic voters in the shuffle. So they have some older candidates that they consider maybe more at risk, which I think is why California 22 was one of them. We've got a Colorado
I'm so
Senate.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Was Randy California 22?
Yes.
Okay.
We have.
But I'm so sorry. Could you also tell us who the three other groups that we are?
Oh, sure.
That we
Okay,
used to
so
put into making
right.
this list.
So one is Our Revolution. So backing up to May Vang again. May Vang, California 7th District, supported by Our Revolution and Working Families Party. Randy Villegas, California 22, supported by Working Family Party. Colorado Senate seat, Julie Gonzalez, another Working Family Party. Georgia's 14th, Dr. Jasmine Clark, was supported by Indivisible. Illinois 2nd, Robert Peters, another Our Revolution. Illinois 3, Delia Ramirez, Our Revolution. Illinois 5, Patty Garcia, Our Revolution. Illinois 8, Junaid Ahmed, Our Revolution. We talked about the Maine Senate seat. Michigan 4, Michigan 13. Our Revolution has endorsed Donovan McKinney.
May I pause you, Nancy?
Sure.
After asking you to read the whole list, we just discussed whether the strategy should change from our adding those three groups and their orientations, because those three groups, particularly Our Revolution and Working Families Parties, are on the very progressive end of the Democratic Party. So we are adding a bias to what we started out with the Democracy Group in saying we care what their stands are more than we care exactly where in the primary lineup they come. And I think they're Indivisible may have chosen people, well, I mean, many of them may have chosen people based on they have a good shot at winning. But I don't know that as well of the Working Families Party and of Our Revolution, even though I've joined both of them. So I wonder whether we should, it's probably still good to look at
Well,
all of
how
them
about this
to
thought?
decide. Oh, and sorry, I'm thinking out loud. That's how it's decided whether there are first tier people or second or third tier people. So I'm backing off that. So do you agree we should
No,
continue?
well, another list, frankly, another list we could look at, the DCCC has obviously, I stumbled across somebody that they've endorsed. They have a list of red to blue flippable seats. Should we be looking at their list?
Because they're red to blue, yes. Because I think we've all said red to blue is very important.
Right.
I do agree preserving California is important too. But we know more about that if we can continue to look at red to blue. Do people agree with that? I can't see all of you.
Well, we should probably take a look at it
Yeah.
because electability is the issue.
Yep.
My opinion.
It is, especially if we're looking at people at the primary stage, and finding the significant ones is a big deal. Gail, and then Ashley. Oh, Ashley, go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
Sorry,
think
Gail's
I'm
unmuted.
muted.
Okay.
Yeah, it does matter what kind of candidates we're putting forward. There's juggling there, but that is a significant issue because in a lot of people's estimation, one reason Trump was successful was that a lot of people felt that their interests were not being looked out for and that the interests of the big donors were being looked out for. Surprise, surprise. People may not be terribly analytical, but they kind of get it, that they're not being taken care of. So they said, well, let's give Trump a chance. He may be a dirty dog, but it'll be something different. So I do think it matters what they stand for. On the other hand, if they have no prayer of getting elected, that's not good either.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. So given the list that we have right now, and we've added a few more people to it from the, oh, I'm so sorry. Ashley, next, yes.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes left for our meeting. I would suggest that in the organizing committee meeting, we hash out what our criteria are. I think at this point, the most important thing is the list of people who are willing to study.
To help, yeah.
And then we can assign them later,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way we have time to do that tonight, to go through the criteria and then assign people.
Well, unless we have
somebody who says, "Oh, I am dying to study,"
All of them.
So Ashley, to that end, we should make sure we've got everybody's contact information.
Yeah.
So we can,
Ben, I don't have yours. I think I have everybody else. Would you mind?
I believe I have Ashley's, and I can send my contact information to Ashley, and she can send it to you. Also, how's that?
I may have you. I'm going to check. Yes, no, that's great. That's great. But I'm misspelling your name.
Right. And so, so as soon as we get that complete list, then I'll send out the whole spreadsheet to everybody to look at, and we can take it from there.
Yeah. And in org, we might have chosen, once we get that agreed. Thank you, Ashley. Ben Stetson, I have you, but I have your email. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm and I will screenshot this.
And
but I think
Larry, we have,
oh, yes, we have Larry.
okay, and,
In
okay,
spades.
all right.
You're in trouble, Larry. You know that. Okay. Could we hear in the last minute a little bit from you, Nancy, about what you took away from convention
Oh,
that was
sure, let me get back to
was
my
new and different for you?
doc here. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, so,
That's good.
yeah, the California Blueprint. Here we go. An economy that works for all and a government that protects the critical services people depend on. Reverend Jesse Jackson's iconic Rainbow Coalition speech, which included the whole Keep Hope Alive thing. I was interested to know he delivered that speech in the very same building that we met at in the convention in that West Hall.
I didn't know
So,
that.
yeah. And then there was also one of my favorites, don't let assholes rule the day. So moving on to the Rise and Organize conventions. There was a lot of just discussion about all the successes of all the work they did for the Prop 50 election. And Marshall, did you have your hand up with a question?
Oh, actually, it's about what we're going to talk about in the org meeting. Now,
Oh, okay.
I'll take it down.
Oh, okay. And the whole big work breakout group that I went to was called Organizing. One of them was called Organizing in an AI World, which I learned a lot about how they want to use AI to develop further conversations and grow relationship with constituents when we're working in the field, when we're canvassing and phone calling, of using AI to actually build greater, deeper relationships that get us further, right? The only other, let's see, I got a bunch of notes, but I'm trying to hurry it here. So, interestingly, the second breakout was in the voter protection area. They talked a lot about everything they did for Prop 50. They're going to continue that whole series. They've got poll observers that they're going to continue training. They've got a legal team set up. They have a hotline. They have people that are doing intel gathering and both campaign and social media monitoring. So when they see election things crop up, they can get on them right away. They encourage us, they make sure that when you're talking to people, make sure they get out to vote early, but don't use scare tactics. Don't be saying, oh my gosh, if you don't get out early, your vote might not count. No, don't be negative. Just be really positive.
Thank
Keep
you.
it positive.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Watch for, we have ballot measures coming about voter registration, possibly. There was mention of a new voting bill that's coming from Senator Umberg. They've got a key eye on making sure that ICE and CBP doesn't show up at the polls. So that was yeah. But the most important stuff I learned actually at the senior caucus, they presented the Aging Master Plan and the Healthcare for All initiative, both in that thing. They went through the entire Aging Master Plan. Both, they said LA and San Diego counties are both working on this. I'm hoping that we've got some work going in this area too. But they also talked about watch out for something that's happening in Medicare right now. They're calling it WISER, the Wasteful and Inappropriate Service Reduction Model, which uses AI to generate authorization for traditional Medicare, with the incentive there for payment for this AI work is by the number of rejections they're going to generate. So,
can I just interrupt there 1 sec?
Yep.
Is that all right? I went with 200 docs in early November. This is the PNHP group, finally getting them to lobby Congress, and it was all about WISER. And the big thing is the big thing in addition to that is they have started already in 6 states, which they started in January, with Medicare, insisting on referrals, which Medicare does not have right now.
Right.
And referrals is the first big place they love rejecting.
Right.
So there, and then it's on down the line.
Well, so the thing for us to watch is they've actually introduced HR 5940, which prohibits this at Medicare. They're trying to say that you can't do that. And
This is the Democrats introduced it.
right, it's so there's a bill, there's AB 1900 and S 3480, which I'll put on our watch list. But CalCare, really is considered to be the biggest mechanism we have to sort of fight against that. And they went into just a whole big discussion about CalCare, all the goals of it, how they're going to fund it, and the beauty of it. So
that's AB 1900, and I will send this crew the link to sign up for only one a week for a phone bank, Wednesdays from 3 to 5. Beautifully laid out, very clear, and very short script. And if we can all be on that, that'll be fabulous.
Right.
Nancy.
Right. So the very interesting thing that sort of wrapped up that day for me was going to the Black Caucus. Now, because this was the endorsing convention, most of the sessions were about candidates coming and giving their 3-minute pitch to the general session, right? Which, interestingly, none of the big name gubernatorial candidates showed up for that. I went, of all the caucuses I went, the Black Caucus was almost 100% full, which none of the others were. They were at best half full. Those folks show up, and they show up in their best, and they come ready to work. And all those top gubernatorial candidates showed up at the Black Caucus to give their pitch. Swalwell, Katie Porter, all of the big name ones were there at the Black Caucus. I couldn't believe it. It was really crazy. But the biggest thing for me was actually coming across and being offered a ticket to go to the big gala that was honoring Nancy Pelosi.
The dinner.
So I got to go to that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. I know we're over 9 a little bit.
Yeah.
Anybody can leave, but Ashley or Diana, do you want to add anything to that?
No, that was a very good report from Nancy. I would add there was a big hullabaloo, and I don't know who was responsible for it, but they were trying to strip the Democratic Party platform of every progressive idea you can think of. They were trying to make it so homogenized, so ineffective, really. And I don't know who was pushing that. But
Wouldn't have been Rusty, would it?
Oh, could have been. I don't know. But fortunately, that was rejected. But it was a fight, and it was really scary. It was unbelievable when you saw all the words that they wanted, all the issues they wanted to strip from the platform. Really.
Yeah, it was funny because in the end, they put almost all of it back.
Yes.
And then in that final session was the only session that they actually debated anything on the floor, right? And there was one issue left that was in contention, and they said, okay, we're going to give 3 speakers aside for 3 minutes and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it had to do with energy and electricity and renewables, right? And so 3 people get up and they're going back and forth. And finally, the last person to speak is in favor, and it was his thing. He presents the whole thing, and then at the end, he concedes and he says, "And I withdraw it. I've talked to the union, and the union's okay with it, and I withdraw it." And I just went,
Why'd you waste our time?
"It's crazy." It was kind of funny. Anyway.
And the only other thing I'll report is that the our central committee's legendary luncheon was a huge success. Big crowd, elegant restaurant.
Great food. Better food than that Nancy Pelosi banquet. Thank you very much.
Which cost way more.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I see Gail's hand. Sorry, Marsh, one sec. Gail's hands is first. Gail, or do you have a comment or?
Well, yes, I just want to make sure that you know that on March 28th for No Kings 3, people will be lined up all along El Camino from 2 to 4. And 2 gathering points that I know of are Redwood City Sequoia Station, which I think is being chaired or sponsored by Mid-Peninsula Indivisible. And then there will be, for the first time, a gathering point in Menlo Park, sponsored by a local group on the east side of El Camino in front of Cafe Barone. So be there or be square. It's really important that it be super massive.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Peter Dreckmeyer, if you can, would love you to write a note to Josh Becker and ask him to make water resources and reform of water to save the Delta and our rivers one of his priorities. If he will look into it, we might have some hope.
Thanks. Marshall.
Yeah, and of course, at Hillsdale, there are also going to be No Kings 3. I wanted to circle back to Nancy about, that was really a great report, and but I wanted to know, in addition to the 2 California candidates that are on the list you gave, was there more talk about who needs more support in the newly gerrymandered
Yes.
districts and who they are? And should we put that on the list, those other people on the list?
Yeah, I think so. I'll do that.
Even the potential Republican districts don't get a Republican.
Right. So there's 4 new districts, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other ones that the California Democratic Party said are either in trouble because of the redistricting. They've lost Democrats. Yeah.
Right.
So
So
I
could
will
you
put
give
those
us-
on the list. Thank you.
Yeah, you give us those. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Particularly because in primaries, they're the people, I assume they're the people we want. So that's very relevant for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
Thank you.
for the general. Yeah.
Thank you.
Obviously. Yeah.
So one last question. Org doesn't meet for 2 weeks. Is it okay not to give this distribution of people for 2 weeks?
Unless we're assigned too many people.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks will be.
But what I'll do in the next couple of days when we have our list, I'll send out the table with the new things on it, with the new California one, so everybody can
Great.
see the whole list.
Great. That's fantastic. So you can be choosing your people, whether or not it's technically part of the next one or not.
Yeah.
That, I think that's great to have a good panoply. Everybody, Gail, I'm going to assume your hand hasn't come down yet, but anything that you want to send out, because I have your emails, send it to me. That's because it won't be there won't be a newsletter for 2 weeks. Nancy.
Right, and everything that you all wrote up for the things we talked about tonight, send them to me so I
we'll
can put them
send
on the website too.
Great. Thank you so much. Tonight, if you can. Everybody, thank you so much for having come. We're here in a month, and we look forward to hearing your reports, for one thing, and to these great discussions. They're very helpful. And if we can take a few minutes for any updates, if there are updates from the people we've talked about this time, I think that would be healthy too, if there's time. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Elsa. You conducted a very good meeting.
Except for when I went, oh, well, should we try this? And then, whoops, maybe we shouldn't. So thank you for tolerating that. To be continued, everybody. And anybody wants 2 people, great, go for it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Night all.
Night, night. And thanks, Diana, for arranging everything